To invite Anna Crotty, who's the founder of Tents for Peace.
Well, thank you for your presence here. It's just overwhelming to see so many faces, and the support has been absolutely phenomenal from Tasmanians and people from all over Australia. For you who don't know who Tents for Peace is about, we're simply a very local-based organisation operating from a small room in West Hobart, usually with an iPad and usually not with Facebook. But this last project, my friend Pamela Mears insisted that I use Facebook because it was the only way to go. But never mind, we're here. It's been a great, successful project. We've raised almost 100 grand to date. And we've given shelter and emergency kits and medicals to almost 1,500 families in Nepal. So thank you very, very much. Just briefly, Tents for Peace is a first response organisation run by people in Hobart, motley lot, teachers, housewives, anybody really that wants to be on the bandwagon of Tents for Peace, most welcome. We don't have staff, paid staff, administrative costs. We just basically do what we need to do when it needs to be done, and very quickly and rapidly into remote areas of the world, particularly those areas that have been hit by natural disaster or war. We've got a good track record in Pakistan and Afghanistan, where we airdropped over 1,000 winterised tents to the northwest province of Pakistan and Afghanistan, and we did that with retired Russian pilots in very rusty planes, and it was truly successful and amazing to see those planes drop our tents and our supplies from the air. It was the impetus for me to keep going. After all, I had retired. I wanted to spend time with my grandchildren. Retirement is a funny word these days. I mean, who of us get to retire? I just went on to another phase of my life. Then we went to Burma, and some of you may recall the cyclone in Burma, where the ships in the harbour of Vision Australia, Save the Children, were held up in the harbour because the junta there in Burma would not let them in. And Tents for Peace, we decided we would actually use the local people in Burma and Thailand to get tarpaulins and medicals across the border, and we had our supplies in there long before the bigger organisations could get into Burma. That's not to say that the wonderful job that huge organisations like Red Cross and World Vision don't do a marvellous and spectacular job. It's just that our job, meaning our Tents for Peace and all the people that support us, is to get first response, emergency equipment and shelter in there quickly, nimbly, fast to save lives. People often say, well, what's the point to save the lives of people who probably won't be sustained permanently if you can't get what they need there long term. But my response to that is we do what we can, and all I say is if that was your child, your mother, your father, sitting there hungry, without shelter, war-torn or affected by natural disaster, would you not want to help them? That's what we do. We're proud that we do that, and I think we'll continue to do that. And all I can say is, without the support of people here who constantly support Tents for Peace and have done for so many years now, thank you for your trust in us. Thank you for being there for us. Thank you for giving us the donations that we so desperately need at this short time. And remember, short-term shelter, quick response, The monsoons are coming into the remote areas of Nepal, if not already there. We will hear from the people on the ground how imperative it is to get these 2 convoys in. For every one village up there that has been given supply, there's another 2 villages that haven't. It's serious and it's desperate. A lot of finance has been given to Nepal. There's been a marvellous collection of funds throughout the world. There are supplies within Kathmandu and Kathmandu Valley. A lot of them are still at the Kathmandu airport. There's a lot of bureaucracy, red tape, and it's not moving fast enough. It will eventually, hopefully, but for the villages that are on the border of Tibet and Nepal, and those remote villages, time is of the essence. It is still desperate. We've had news that there's 350 elderly women sharing one big tent who are sick and without food and without help. And we get this sort of information back from the people on the ground that we work with. To actually explain what we do, we don't actually go from here and take goods over. We don't actually direct from here. All we do is ask the people, such as yourself here, to give us a bit of money, to trust us, to work with people on the ground. When we worked in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Burma, and now Nepal, we work with local people and we don't impose anything on them. We actually give them the respect that they need, that they know what they're doing. They're on the ground, they can assess the needs of their people much better than we can. But what we do is to make sure that we check these people that we work with out very, very thoroughly. We make sure that they're trustworthy, and we pride ourselves in delivering every cent of your money. And we don't actually get paid 1 cent of what we do, and that's our contribution. The 2 people that I've been working with in Nepal have been absolutely beyond description. Samden, who you will hear from soon, live from Nepal, I got his contact via ringing somebody that Amit Bektas and Mel Lambourne had suggested that I ring. And in all the way through, there's always a little funny side to every project that we do. So I rang this PT Sherpa and I said, "Hi, PT Sherpa, I'm Anna Crotty and I need your help." And his response is, "Well, I'm sorry, but I'm all drugged up at the moment and I think I'm bombed out." So I thought, well, that was the most peculiar response to a call for help. So I backtracked and I thought, well, don't quite know whether this is the right guy we need. But it turned out, and as in all of these projects, the depth of the human spirit and the compassion that people have always shines through, regardless of all the misunderstandings and the difficulties. It turned out that PT Sherpa has actually got a United Nations medal for his contribution to environmental and sustainable projects throughout the world. At the time I talked to him, he was a very sick man. He'd been flown out of Asia into Brisbane for a massive operation. And when I got him, he was actually talking from a hospital bed. And indeed he was actually drugged to the eyeballs. But he didn't tell me that. All he said is, "I will do whatever I need to do to help my people. Just tell me." After I continued to talk to him for a few days, I actually put 2 and 2 together and realised what was actually going on. But the thing is, the man never ever told any of us, as we worked with him, his situation and where he was. And all the way through this campaign for Nepal, over and over again, we've had those sorts of stories. My country, people first, not me. And that's indicative of what's happened with our Nepalese students here. I thought that Tents for Peace was going to have their own fundraiser. But as time went on, it seemed that the Nepalese Students' Association gave up, in a very gracious way, their time and their effort and their money and that had been earmarked for their projects here in the university to join with us so we could one last effort to get 2 convoys into very, very remote areas of Nepal that have not seen anybody yet before the monsoon. So I thank them from the bottom of my heart. I thank the university and thank Tents for Peace for all it stands for and you, its supporters. Thank you.